drives a Porsche 992 2.2 G3. Do you like it? My was really... Hello, babies. I'm in Spain now. This time we came to Spain for a very hardcore main task. It is not difficult to see, right? We are going to test drive this ordinary version of GT3 on the track. Is it a car with such a big rear wing and still call it an ordinary version? Only GT3. In addition, we will also drive the touring version of GT3 on the mountain road. I don't know which of these two cars you like more. Babies who like this regular version can comment 1, and those who like the touring version can comment 2. In fact, I don't think I need to say too much about the appearance of all the modifications are actually based on the changes of 992.2, 911. So for example, regarding its headlights, its front bumper, etc., I believe you must have changed already know it well. Do you see that there are a lot of carbon fibers on our car, including magnesium alloy wheels? This is because this GT3 is equipped with the optional Wysox kit. This is also the first time that you can choose the Wysox kit on a GT3. Of course, this Wysox kit also includes our rear wing and the carbon fiber roll cage inside the car. It is a very extreme and lightweight modification, very ostentatious when driving on the street. Sense of extreme. That I can drive, but no one else can drive, only I can drive. However, the touring version is more restrained. When you see the touring, you feel that it seems to be an ordinary 911. But when you see the GT3 logo, or you see some of its details, you will find, turns out he was driving a GT3. So I don't know which of these two feelings you prefer. Without hesitation, I choose touring. I just like how I bought a GT3, but everyone thought it was a Carrera. Now I'm driving this GT3 touring on the mountain roads in Spain. You can listen to the sound it makes. First of all, as a naturally aspirated engine, 9,000 RPM. This 9,000 RPM comes too easily. There is no way to control myself from stepping on the accelerator. There is no way to control myself from stepping on the accelerator. Our car has a 4.0-liter 6-cylinder, naturally aspirated horizontal confrontation engine, and its horsepower is still 510 horsepower, and its torque is now 450 number. But I think that for a GT3, horsepower is not a very important value at all. Use the speed to bring your speed down. This feeling is the charm of a naturally aspirated car. The super large engine of this car is on our rear axle. In addition, the rear-wheel drive layout of 911. It will give our rear axle a very strong grip. Very, very stable. The 992 generation GT3 added a wide body, so it can accommodate wider the tires and the very important double wishbone allow the whole car to have the characteristics and advantages of R while increasing the grip of the front axle. In conjunction with the rear wheel steering, the GT3R's upward technology is used to optimize the pitch during braking. It is much faster and easier to drive. Okay, this corner has such good grip that I can take the accelerator very steadily. It is more suitable for ordinary people to drive. This 992 generation GT3, the front uses a double wishbone suspension. It also replaces the double wishbone with a one-piece shape, which means that when we squeeze our suspension during cornering, its one-piece shape will also generate a downward force on our vehicle, which is equivalent to the airflow of the vehicle under our suspension, which will make the body more stable. At the same time, it can even dissipate heat for our brakes. It is a very clever design. It is too fast. The gear shifting is too fast. The one I am driving now is the PDK gearbox version. With the PDK gearbox, you feel that it enters the gear. It should have very quickly and retreats to the gear. It should retreat very quickly, but it also gives you a lot of power. It uses a lot of power to do this. If you can't get that climax feeling when driving this car, then no other car can give you this feeling. The greatest charm of the naturally aspirated engine is that when you increase the speed to 9,000 RPM, you are completely pushed to the climax little by little. Feel the atmosphere of this car. This GT3 has a foldable copper chair. The purpose is actually so that you can choose seats in the back row of a GT3 Touring. This means that the sister who drives the GT3 can finally bring her younger brother. At the same time, you can also install a child safety seat on the seat. What is this? This is a Porsche child seat. You can say the hot dad sit here first, and then take your baby in the back. Isn't it very cool to drive this touring? Baby in the car. The two giant babies can go. And look at this seat. There is a red arrow in this position. This is where you can take it off when you're driving. This GT3 on the track with your helmet on. It can give you a better headspace so that it won't hit you. Now we are going to drive the big rear wing on the track. You said, Porsche Princess, please get in the car.
Porsche Princess, please get in the car.
I think my helmet is really useful on top of it. It just fit together perfectly. In fact, the dynamic suspension of this ordinary version of GT3 and Towering's car are exactly the same. But the feeling it gives you is completely different when you drive. The touring on a mountain road, it is relatively leisurely. But when you drive this GT3 on the track, you are always shocked by the sound of its entire engine. In fact, the power of this 992.2 Generation GT3 does not change much, but in fact, there are many changes in the details of the front of the car, although we have added a lot of units, in order to balance the weight of the previous generation of 1,418 kilograms. The car is still in the engine hubs. The back subframe and so on a series of places have done a large area of weight reduction. Finally, the preparation quality of this car was controlled to 1/420 kg. As soon as you get on, you will feel that the car itself is very light. Originally, it was 911, it puts the huge engine on the rear axle, and the rear-mounted rear-wheel drive gave the entire rear axle great grip. But at the same time, the front axle made you feel more difficult to turn and easier to push and turn. But when the 992 was replaced with a double wishbone suspension, I actually think the performance of the entire front axle is more stable, and it's more suitable for ordinary drivers. Of course, I believe that the 911 is a pure driver's car, but the current GT3 does not require you to have very, very, very high to control it. You can drive this car in your own style. At the same time, this car has been teasing your upper limit, allowing you to increase your driving power and driving skills to become a driver who is more suitable for this car. This car is a car that will train you. The 911, it's really a very attractive driver's car. It has a very persistent self. It has requirements for drivers. It may even dampen your motivation to drive sometimes, but it will definitely make you stronger. Many friends asked why this generation of GT3 did not use Porsche's new power system. In fact, my understanding is that first of all, Porsche's positioning for mainly GTS and its GT series are completely different. What about GTS? It hopes to use its new things, new power, and new attempts on the 911 GTS. But for the GT series, it always has the pure feeling of the track. As for why this generation of GT3 still retains the current power, I think it's not just that we use a self-priming engine so we can't use an electric turbine. I think it's more about the positioning of the GT series. It doesn't want a turbine, not a motor, not a battery. And you will have a very clear perception of this when you turn it on. All it wants is 9,000 RPM, high-speed self-priming engine, the charm that keeps pushing you until you climax.